Welcome to Worldwide Business. I'm Kathy Ireland. According to the Hackett Group, today accountants and financial personnel spend 65% or more of their time on manual, low-value processes. In addition, as the complexity and risk of compliance continues to rise, companies can't afford to be close in regards to the accuracy of their financials. They need to be 100% confident, as the CEOs and CFOs' personnel signatures are required to certify their accuracy. Trintech is committed to providing exceptional financial record to report solutions that ensure the integrity of the period end numbers and enable highly qualified employees to refocus their time and effort away from those manual, low-value processes. The financial transformation that Trintech provides allows the Office of Finance to better focus on helping drive the strategic growth of the organization. Trintech CEO Teresa McIntosh and CFO Darren Heffernan are here to share more. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Thanks for having us.
Now, I'm going to ask both of you. I'll start with you. Will you please tell us, how did you get into this industry and this company, Trintech?
Yeah, so really I have been in the area of finance, tax, and accounting for over 20 years now. And really my passion is helping our customers be more efficient. Because whether you're talking about accounting or finance, it's sort of the lost focus of a lot of organizations, right? It's the expectation underlying things that it automatically works. But it doesn't always get the attention it deserves to help make it more efficient and more productive for our customers.
Right. And Teresa, you were brought in as CEO.
Yes, so I have been part of the Trintech story for a little over 18 months. And I was brought in at a point where we had a change in private equity firms. Vista Private Equity now is our primary investor.
Right.
And they were looking for leadership to really build scale in the organization beyond sort of where it was at that point. So I've leveraged my experience from other fabulous organizations that I've worked with prior to that and really have joined Trintech because I believe so much in the story and what we have ahead of us. It's just an amazing, amazing journey we're going to be on.
Well, congratulations on all your success. And Darren, can you please tell us how you got into this industry? Teresa spoke about the story. Can you speak a bit to that?
Yeah, I guess I've been in the industry for over 20 years, just like Teresa. And I used to work for General Electric on the other side of the fence, which was conducting a closed process for one of our European businesses. So I inherently knew all the problems that happens with closing your books and not having the visibility or the transparency into that process. So it was with delight when Trintech came calling for me many years ago that this was something that I was passionate about. It was something that I understood. Software was a new vertical for me, and I found it fascinating. So I decided to join the team a long time ago.
Oh, wonderful. And Teresa, what are the biggest challenges companies are facing in finance?
Yeah. When I think of our customers and the types of challenges that they have on a day-to-day basis, you think of the importance of what they do. Right? We are relying on CFOs in the Office of Finance in global organizations to really be able to report on the underlying, accuracy of the numbers, the reliability of the numbers. So many things depend on that in our capital markets, shareholders, investors. Everyone really assumes that what is being reported is accurate and dependable. So that's a tremendous amount of pressure that our customers have. Well, they don't actually have all the tool sets necessary to be able to achieve that always. So the biggest challenges they really face are around their process, the people, and the technology. The process, they have a very dated process in a lot of cases, right? It hasn't grown with the business how you would want it to grow with the business. As things have gotten more complex, they've done mergers, they've done acquisitions. A lot of times those systems got cobbled together and nobody ever stopped and took a step back and said, okay, what should this process really look like? And that's what we really help them to do. And then in terms of people, we're now at a point where almost the majority of the workforce are really millennials, right? Trained, very tech savvy, very strong analytical skills, and yet we're asking them to use tool sets of a previous generation, right? Those that aren't intuitive to them. And so that's a big challenge we have with our workforce today. And then lastly is the technology. As I mentioned, a lot of things are really cobbled together, and you're relying on Excel to bring that final story together, or a single, point solution. Right. And there has to be a better way. And that's really where Trintech comes in. It's a better way.
So Darren, how is Trintech poised to solve these challenges?
Well, given we're a software company, right, our technology is deployed in the office of the CFO to supplement the record to report process. So we define the record to report process as from the time you close your subledger at the end of a period, right all the way through to when you do your financial reporting, either external or internal. We want to enable companies to question their processes. Why are they doing things a certain way? Why are, all the different departments, why does it seem the confusion and, and the whole way they're going about things? We also want to give people back more time. Like if you use our solution, the stats are out there, like 65%, the duties that are done by people are paid by highly intelligent, highly paid staff. That it's kind of a waste of their talent, and it's not productive for the company neither. So we literally want to take that away, give them back time. It's more rewarding for them and more rewarding for the company.
Well, in this Worldwide Business Field Report, we take a closer look at Trintech's innovative solutions.
Ingram Micro is a $42 billion global company that really tries to leverage our significant relationships with our vendors by providing business streams in four main areas. Technology solutions, so we distribute anywhere from media products to POS systems to computers to software. We also manage the forward, reverse, and repair logistics for mobile devices, and outside the US, set-top boxes and other electronic items globally. Thirdly, we have a business called Commerce and Fulfillment Solutions, which manages the forward and reverse logistics for products that we don't actually own. And finally, we have our cloud business. So we aggregate a number of our vendors' products into one bill and provide that access and opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses around the globe. We use K&C certification and K&C close, and they help track our reconciliation process as well as our closing process for both our corporate controllership close and our FP&A budgeting and forecasting process. We're a very large company. We operate in 40 countries, we have 225 entities, and we buy 6 to 12 companies a year. Although we had an overall process, it wasn't very insightful to the folks at corporate or on a daily basis. We really were limited to snapshots of the close process and reconciliation process on a monthly basis. With K&C certification and K&C close, we're able to get that visibility on a daily basis, as well as driving harmonization and standardization across all our countries and entities. So a person in Peru who's doing a reconciliation or a close process during the month is the same as a person doing that process for reconciliation in Germany or the United States.
Darren, with the majority of the Fortune 100 as customers, what draws these enterprise-class companies to partner with Trintech on their financial transformation projects?
Yeah, great question, Kathy, right? I think they trust us. Like, we've been in this business for such a long time. We've been a public company, we've been a private company. We understand all the nuances of, what they're going through. This is not an easy thing to market. This is not an easy market. It's very complex. We've got one particular client that has like 46 different countries they're in, so their whole process is so fragmented. So to enable our technology to make their lives a lot easier just makes a massive difference to them, right? The other thing I would say is that companies don't get into that Fortune 100 list without, mergers and acquisitions. So the complexity of that, because you bring in numerous things like new people, new processes, new technologies. So having a tool like Trintech that we can make it easier for them is definitely something that we align with. In addition to that, our focus is on enterprise companies. That's where we play best.
And Teresa, what is financial transformation and what does it consist of? Why is it important for companies to consider?
Yeah, financial transformation is really a phrase that we use, or that the industry uses, to think about it in a very holistic manner. right? So it's not just one piece of technology or changing one process. It's really looking holistically from end to end of the record to report of what processes need to change. It could be multiple areas beyond record to report, but it's looking at the Office of Finance much more holistically. It also has a lot to do with how we work with our customers. In order for them to really be able to get the outcomes that they want on a project of this scale, it takes a lot of knowledge about what it is they want to change, and we need to work with them very closely to align in the implementation process. We also partner a great deal with the Big Four or other professional advisory firms, because when you're dealing with global enterprise clients, it can be a very complex engagement overall. And so financial transformation is really that broader scope of looking at it in how to drive change throughout the organization.
And Darren, what is currently the biggest trend in this space, and how is Trintech addressing it?
Yeah, I think if you'd asked me that, 12 months ago, 18 months ago, I would have said the cloud. The cloud is something that people were still getting used to adopting. Thankfully for all software companies, it's actually the mode of delivery now. So we're through that. I would actually say RPA, robotic process automation. And simply put, that is robots, or bots as they're known in the industry, working in the background to automate all of those mundane, repetitive tasks that were previously done by humans. So that's an area that we constantly see that comes up. We are lucky. We've foreseen this as an issue coming forward. We've embedded it in our technology, and it's a big part of our plan going forward. I sat through a customer of ours, a large sports apparel company, and they described to us that when they were going through their process of reconciliation, some of the changes they made, and they were gaining like 90% efficiency. So again, the staff, which we will always come back to the staff, were able to focus more on value-adding activities rather than doing that repetitive stuff that's way beyond their skill set.
And Teresa, what are the benefits of deploying Trintech's risk-intelligent robotic process automation technology?
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is a mouthful.
So RPA is a very big trend in the industry. And when you really start with just RPA, the immediate thought that comes to mind is around efficiency and how do I make a process faster? Well, first you have to look at what the process is to make sure that you're not making a bad process faster.
Right.
I guess you'll understand if you made a mistake quicker, but ultimately you want to make sure that you have the right process and that it aligns. At Trintech, we take it a step further and we focus on making it a risk-intelligent RPA process. So what that means is focusing on areas where you can really drive outcomes that are deterministic of what's happening underneath, where you can change and evolve and learn in the process such that you have an audit trail, you know what's happening, but you also have assurance that the focus is going in the right areas. But you can check a lot of boxes and make sure that work is getting done, but if you're not looking at the right things, you could easily miss a problem. And so risk intelligence really is about focusing on the right things and making sure that it continues to evolve and change as the organization does.
And Darren, Trintech has its roots in your home country of Ireland. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, no, the company started back in 1985 in a completely different industry. It actually was founded on point-of-sale terminals and e-commerce space that was going to settle transactions between banks and between processors. So that's what was its foundation. And then it went public in 1999. I joined in 2001 shortly thereafter. And we bought a number of companies in the US. That's how I ended up coming to Dallas, and we wanted to consolidate all the companies together. And it was around that time that we had the vision for the record to report strategy. We knew we wanted to get out of the point of sale business. It was, it's a hardware business that's very difficult to, make money on. There's a lot of competitors in it. So we started developing the strategy, we started making acquisitions, and we started to put them together. And kind of where we are today is our vision of record to report is what you're seeing, and the success we're enjoying. We're just extremely, happy with. We're very delighted.
One part I love of the legacy that you didn't mention is that it actually came from Trinity College at the University of Dublin. That's where the name came from.
It's a good point. The original founder, it's kind of a funny story because the original founder went to college there, So any software company that was founded in the 80s, you know, just put a tech on the end of something. So he picked Trin and then just put the tech on the end of it. So it actually worked out pretty well. And it's I suppose in this day and age, it's lasted the test of time, you know, so it's great.
It's a wonderful history.
We've seen significant progress after implementing both Cadency components. With Cadency Reconciliation, which is essentially global, it aided our process of moving many of our processes into shared services centers. So the process was already standardized with Cadency certification. So as it moved into the shared service centers, it was a very smooth transition process. Cadency Close, as we're rolling that out, we're getting insight into the close process in every one of our countries. We have a number of ERP systems, SAP, Impulse, and IFS. Some are off the shelf and some are homegrown. So it gives us the consistency that we want to see from a top level, but also allows us to dive in and perform process improvement where we find issues. As far as the support for the Cadency suite, it's very minimal from our side. We have 3 people working part-time around the globe to support the local users, to raise questions, and really to compile enhancements that we like to implement.
Well, through the implementation of record-to-report automation solutions from Trintech, finance organizations can strategically drive business forward by optimizing its resources, reducing its costs, and improving governance and transparency across the entire financial close process. Teresa and Darren, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you
very much.
For Worldwide Business, I'm Kathy Ireland. Thank you for watching.